Bismillah, Sheikh, whenever you're ready now.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Today, inshallah, I wanted to deal with the hadith of the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam that shows the virtues of the month of Ramadan, and it has some issues I want to draw your attention to, inshallah. The authentic hadith that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, لخلوف فم الصائم أطيب عند الله من ريح المسك. The hadith is translated that the bad breath that emanates from the mouth of a person who is fasting is purer to Allah. It is tayyib, atyab, is purer to Allah than expensive misk perfume is to you, the human beings. I'm sure everybody has heard this hadith, and it's one of the many hadith that clearly indicate the virtues of fasting, in that when a person is fasting, if he doesn't eat, as a result of not eating, something happens in his stomach, so you can smell his breath. And in most instances, that would be offensive to most people. As a matter of fact, those people who suffer from bad hygiene or they have bad breath and they are our brothers and friends, some of us don't even advise them by saying, Akhi, you have bad breath, you need to sort that out. Obviously saying it in a way where you advise the person not to hurt them, but to give good advice. And you'll find this issue many times, our sincerity or lack thereof in our relationships will prevent us from giving nasiha. Although the Nabi says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the religion is giving good advice, the religion is giving nasiha, the religion is giving nasiha. So if we smelt an odor from our brother, some of us will see something in our brother or our sister and will remain silent about it. But the point here is, what's this? Nasir, can you cats go in my office? Because I'm doing this thing right here. I should have told you, Afwan. So because a person is fasting, the smell that may offend other people is not offensive to Allah Azza wa Jal. It's not offensive to Allah. So as I said, something that is negative in the dunya, a bad odor, and the Prophet, he hated bad odors, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the malaika, they hate bad odors. He was sitting with his companions, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and some of them were very poor. They used to only have one set of clothing, and sometimes the clothing would be wool, and they're wearing that wool in the summer months, and they would sweat, being in that weather, being in that heat. And one time they were all sitting together, and he smelt the odor. And he told them it is wajib upon a Muslim to take a full ghusl every 7 days. 1 day in every 7 days where he washes his whole body and he washes his hair. So it's wajib on the Muslim not to go beyond 7 days without taking a ghusl, even if he didn't have a nocturnal dream, even if he didn't have relationships with his wife. Every 7 days, a person should take a ghusl, preferably if he has to wait 7 days on Friday. Like the Bedouins, for an example, like someone who works in the middle of the ocean on those, big rigs out there in the middle of nowhere. A person has a job where he's driving lorries long distance. Now, the hadith doesn't say we should wait 7 days. In reality, I would advise and suggest you take a shower every day, twice every day, if that's possible. He mentioned showing the importance of purification. At-tuhur shatrul iman. Cleanliness is half of faith in al-Islam. We're making wudu so many times a day. We're doing the miswak. Even when we're fasting, we should brush our teeth. Muslims should be on our hygiene. And as fathers and mothers, we should be telling our teenagers and other than that the importance of hygiene, because the Nabi, he disliked foul odors. He mentioned about the angels sallallahu alaihi wasallam, inna al-malaika tata'adha mimma yata'adha minhu banu Adam. The angels are annoyed by the same things that the sons and children of Adam are annoyed by. So they don't like if someone has hygiene problems. His feet, for an example, they don't smell very good. He has an odor that comes from his underarm, from his breath, or something like that. People were from Africa and African Americans as well, but from Nigeria, where my wife is from. My wife is from Nigeria. If you go outside and you go to the marketplace and you do errands and then you come back in, you can come back in with that odor from outside. The people in African Americans, they'll say, "You smell like outside." Nigerians call that smell, the northern Nigerians, Hausas and Fulanis, they call that smell garni, garni. So your mother, your wife, your husband will tell you, "Hey, you got that garni smell. Go and take a shower." And it's not necessarily the body odor, it's the funk smell. It's that smell of outside. Go and get that garni off of you. So the malaika, they don't like offensive smells. They don't like the smell of cigarettes. They don't like the smell of cigars. They don't like the smell that, certain people's homes smell like. He sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, "Men akala min hatayni al-shajarataini al-khabithataini fala yaqrab min masjidina." Anyone who has eaten from these two filthy smelling trees, then don't come to our masjid. Don't pray in our masjids. Anyone who ate garlic, raw garlic, or he ate onions, raw onions, if they're cooked and the smell is not there, then you can eat that. But you should not eat raw garlic and raw onions and then come to the masjid. Why? Because the malaika are offended by that. He told us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that when you stand up for prayer, there is a specific angel that puts his mouth to your mouth. And when you read the Quran, your recitation of the Quran goes inside of the jaw for the body of that angel. And angels don't like smells that are bad. When you go to the toilet, akramakumullah, angels don't like the smells that come out of Bani Adam that are offensive. So the Prophet himself, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, did not like, as a human being, bad smells. They said there were three things that if he was offered those three things, he would never turn them down. If you offered him a pillow, he would take it. If you offered him milk, he would take it. And if you offered him perfume, he would always take it. He would never say, "I don't want that." Now, obviously, if a person is lactose intolerant and someone offers you milk, you shouldn't drink the milk. If a person has eczema or hassasiyah, he's allergic to oils, he shouldn't take the oils. That doesn't mean you have to do that, but we're talking about the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he was a person who did not like offensive odors, which is an indication to us as Muslims, we gotta be clean. And the girl, the woman, has to be clean even more because that's her fitrah. The woman is the one who is going to take a lot of interest in her hygiene and how she looks. So the hadith, the smell of the breath of the person who is fasting is pure to Allah, more pure to Allah than how misk is to you, the smell of misk. I got to make this very clear. The smell of misk is not referring to that cheap oil, that perfume that you find that people sell in America, in Pakistan, India, that cheap stuff. It's not talking about that. It's talking about the expensive misk, like oud, that really expensive, where you get something that is this size, homie. If you get something that this size, it'll cost 200 pounds. Some of that perfume comes from the stomach of deers. Some of it comes from the stomach of whales. It's like the food that they get from the well called caviar. It's extremely expensive because of the process that you have to go through in order to produce it. There's a misk called amber. Amber. It is extremely expensive. One of the companions, his name was Mus'ab ibn Umair. He was from Mecca, and his mother was rich. He accepted Islam, and he lost all of his wealth for La ilaha illallah. They said if Mus'ab ibn Umair walked down the street, his perfume from Persia and Rome was so expensive that you would smell and you would know that Mus'ab ibn Umair came this way. But when he died in the Battle of Uhud, they couldn't bury him in anything that would cover up his old body. So they put leaves on the top of his head and his feet were showing. And the Prophet cried when he saw him because Mus'ab radiallahu anhu wa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he sacrificed a lot for al-Islam. And then people are going to come and curse the companions, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Aisha, and the rest of the companions. Waylun laka, waylun laka, waylun laka. Anybody who takes the Shiite of Iran, the Rafida, the Ithna Ashariya, the 12 Imams, I'm not here to preach hate, but anybody who takes them as awliya and friends, and you don't know, those people are the enemies of Islam, you don't understand Islam. They say things about Aisha that only Yahud, Zionists, who kill the Palestinians, lying saying they're after Hamas. People like that say things about the awliya. People like the Zionists. A'udhu billah. They said that Aisha used to open up the door and there would be a line of Yahudi at the door. When the Prophet would go out the front door, she would open up the back door, and the Yahud would come one in, one after another, and have relationships with her, and she doesn't make ghusl. My own mother, Allah Azza wa Jalla said in the Quran, and Nabiyu, أولى بالمؤمنين من أنفسهم وأزواجه أمهاتهم. The Prophet is closer to the believers than their own selves, and his mother, his wives, are their mothers. Aisha is our mother. So if someone said about my mother who gave birth to me, my mother in New Jersey right now, what they say about Aisha, by the Lord of the Kaaba, I swear by Allah, he's going to have a problem. And my mother's not even a Muslim. She's not even a Muslimah. So what do you think is going to be my issue with him if he says that about Aisha or Hafsa or any of the companions of the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, especially his wives? I don't want to digress, but it's important that we understand our aqeed and we understand our religion. So back to the point of what I want to mention. The smells of the expensive perfumes, like the perfumes that we use, these designer perfumes, Tom Ford, things like that. It's not talking about that. It's talking about that expensive perfume that the Arabs used to know. So here's a situation where Allah finds that more pure, the smell that's offensive than that perfume. So that goes to show us a very important point. Not only does this hadith show us other points I'll talk about, but the important point it shows us is that when Allah Azza wa Jal looks at something a particular way, then that's the way we have to look at it. Like it who likes it, hate it who hates it. Like Mus'ab ibn Umair. He made the ultimate sacrifice, gave his life up for Islam. He gave up all of his money. His mother, who was a kafira, mushrika, used to threaten him and blackmail him and say, if you don't leave this Islam, I am going to disinherit you. He said, so what? Do it. She stopped giving him money. She said, if you don't leave Islam, I'm going to fast until I kill myself. And then the people are going to say, you killed your mother. He said to her mother, if Allah gave you 99 lives in addition to the soul that you have. You killed each one, 100. Never will I leave al-Islam. And Allah revealed those ayahs in the Quran about the mother and the father. When Allah Ta'ala said, وَإِن جَاهَدَاكَ عَلَى أَن تُشْرِكَ بِي مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. If your mother and your father fight you, they make jihad, they struggle, and they fight you in order to make shirk with Allah and that which He's not giving you any authority, don't listen to them. But be in the dunya with respect. It was revealed because of these companions. So here's this man who sacrificed all of this, and here's some guy comes, Johnny come lately, and he's cursing these companions who made the ultimate sacrifice for Islam. So my point here is point number one, if Allah loves something, wants something, legislates something, we as Muslims have to get with what Allah legislated and what the Prophet brought, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sheikh Zahid, hey Sheikh Zahid, excuse me, I'm online right here. I'm talking in the class. May Allah bless you. Peace in the Middle East, Sheikh. As I was saying, Allah described the believers in the Quran, and He said about the believers, وَمَا كَانَ لِمُؤْمِنٍ وَلَا مُؤْمِنَةٍ إِذَا قَضَى اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ أَمْرًا أَن يَكُونَ لَهُمُ الْخِيرَةُ مِنْ أَمْرِهِمْ. It is not befitting, it's not acceptable for a believing man or a believing woman, if Allah or His messenger make a decision about something, for them to have any say-so about it. It's what Allah and His messenger said. Whatever they said. It's not what the Imam of the Madhab said. It's not what the Imam of your masjid said. It's not what your mother, your father said. It's not what the culture said. It's not what the racist, Donald Trump says. It's not what the Queen or the King of England said or anybody else. It's what Allah and His messenger said. You are not a true believer if you don't do that. So Allah, He looks at the smell that people would normally find offensive, and it's purer to Him than what we look at when we smell expensive perfume. This is extremely important. Extremely. So I know a lot of people, the girl accepts Islam when she grows up with a family that's secular. They're secular and they don't practice. And then she makes tawbah and puts hijab on, and they give her a hard time. Let them give you a hard time and stick to your hijab. Let the family and the people give you a hard time. But you have to be patient with them, and you have to bear patiently what annoys you that comes from them. But you can't acquiesce and you can't apologize. And what Allah says is what we have to say. So if Allah says, for an example, in popular culture, there are a lot of things that these people are doing that you have to be politically correct concerning these things. So Muslims like to apologize. They like to apologize when the thing that they're apologizing about is clear, the ruling in al-Islam. But we want to please non-Muslims. Allah Ta'ala told us in the Quran, وَلَن تَرْضَ عَنْكَ الْيَهُودُ وَلَا النَّصَارَى حَتَّى تَتَّبِعَ مِلَّتَهُمْ. The Yahud and the Christians will not be happy with you until you follow their religion. So there will be no end to you trying to please them. You please them on this point, they're going to be upset with you about other points. The woman is oppressed. The fact that she's wearing these clothes. These rules and regulations in Islam are a problem. And then you find these Muslim politicians, especially in the UK, they do this all the time, but they're not the only ones who do it. A lot of people, like in the situation with Palestine and Gaza, many of us, I find brothers giving dawah, especially the takfiri type of people. Look at the rulers. Look at the rulers of this country and that country. In the Gulf states, they have all this money. Look at the rulers. Look at the rulers. They're kuffar. Look at them. But then you look at that person, he doesn't have a beard. You look at that person who's making takfir of them, and he's, always talking about the rulers. You look at him. His wife doesn't wear hijab. You look at our community in the month of Ramadan, how much water we're wasting when we're making wudu, how much food we're wasting, knowing full well that Palestinians and other Muslims are suffering. So don't be of those people who Allah mentioned in the Quran. لا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم. Don't be like the people who forgot about Allah and therefore Allah caused them to forget about themselves. So here he is. You look at his house. You look at what he's doing. You look at his wife. You look at everything about him. But he's forgetting his own self and he is super involved with criticizing everyone else. No, he's this. He's a deviant. You're this. And he doesn't even pray Fajr. Not in Ramadan and not outside of Ramadan. Does he pray Fajr on time? So this issue, I want you brothers and sisters, whoever listens right now, to understand. What Allah legislated is what we have to get with the program. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, anyone who makes the people happy at the expense of angering Allah is going to be punished. And the one who makes the people angry at the expense of making Allah pleased, this one is going to be in a good situation. So to please the people and Allah is angry with you, this is a musibah. To please Allah and the people are angry with you, that is a combination for success. And it shouldn't be misunderstood that I'm encouraging you to be a knucklehead and to be difficult. The way you exist with people is you're confrontational, you're giving dawah in a nasty way, in a bad way, and the way you're giving dawah, you're creating enmity and animosity and hatred. And you say, I'm pleasing Allah. No, Allah wants you to be pleased by giving dawah the way He told you to. Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah wal maw'idhati al hasana wajadilhum billati hiya ahsan. Give dawah with hikmah, not being rough and tough and judgmental and intolerant, and you look at yourself as being big and everybody is no good and they're small. And then when you say to the people, I gave you dawah, and I find a lot of brothers who are hardcore Salafis, there's a problem, but they don't have a monopoly on it. Practicing Brelwis, practicing Deobandis, practicing Tablighis, practicing Sufis. Every group does that. But because I'm Salafi, I've experienced it and I see it with Salafis a lot because this is the group that I deal with more than any other group. I don't agree with you and the people in SP in Birmingham, then something's wrong with you, the way you're giving dawah in a mean way. And I'm not just singling them out. Every one of these groups have people who are like this. They look at the other Muslims in a condescending way and they look at themselves as being better than everybody else. And that's why they give dawah like that. The Prophet says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, three things will destroy you. Three things. And one of those things he said, ijabul marbi nafsihi, a person being impressed with himself. And so Allah revealed the ayat, la tuzakku anfusakum, huwa a'lamu biman ittaqa. Do not praise yourselves. Do not look at yourselves as being all of that. Allah knows best. The one who has taqwa. So when we see a lady not wearing proper hijab, we look down on her. She doesn't wear any niqab, she doesn't wear gloves. We look down on her. He's making salat with his hands below his navel. We look down on him. They don't put their feet together in the saf. They should do roughly yadayn. It's established. They should put their feet together in the salat and jama'ah. It's established. You should do all that. It's established. But it's ikhtilaf in the issue. So don't look down upon your Muslim brother or sister. And don't come and say, a person is thirsty for knowledge, thirsty for water, and you bring a tray of water, and then you take the water, and instead of handing him the nice, succulent, cool water to quench his thirst, giving him knowledge, you don't do that. You take the water and push it, and you throw it in his face, and it comes in his face, and he gets upset with you, and you say, you didn't want the haqq, you didn't want the truth, you reject Allah and his messenger, you're not religious. Come on, brother. Look at the way you did it. Look at the way you deal with the elders. Look at the way you're giving dawah. You're giving dawah to someone who's much older than you in a way that's disrespectful. No wonder he's rejecting the truth, because of you. And that's why Allah made it prohibited in the Quran Do not curse those people who call on other than Allah, or you may cause them to indirectly curse Allah. They're cursing Allah. Don't you come and curse their gods. Allah Ta'ala said, the Prophet in an authentic hadith, none of you should curse your father. They said, how would one of us curse his father, Ya Rasulullah? He said, by arguing with a man and you curse his father. So when you curse his father, he curses your father. So you were responsible for him indirectly or directly cursing your dad. So that's the first point. Second point that I want to mention about this hadith, the breath of the one who is fasting is purer with Allah than expensive perfume, is that this hadith shows a very important point, and that is human beings are weak. Allah Ta'ala has created human beings weak, as he said, وَخُلِقَ الْإِنسَانُ ضَعِيفًا. Mankind has been created weak. How much time do we have before we break fast, my man, inshallah?
40 minutes, roughly.
So that establishes that mankind is weak. That's what Allah said in the Quran. So the strongest one from amongst us is weak. Allah said in the Quran, Alam yakhluqum min ma'in mahin. Hasn't Allah created you from a liquid that is despised? We were created from sperm. From sperm. Prophet Muhammad said in an authentic hadith, إذا رأيت رجلا يتعزى بعزاء الجاهلية فقل له عض على هن أبيك ولا تكنو. Listen to this authentic hadith that's been collected by Imam al-Tirmidhi and other than him. It's authentic. Hey, my man, he said, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, if any of you sees a man bragging using the time like what they did in Jahiliyyah, my father is so-and-so, I'm from this tribe, I'm Pakistani, I'm Mirpuri, I'm European, I'm American, I'm a white man, I'm this, I'm that. He said, if you see anybody bragging where he came from, then tell him to bite on his father's penis and don't sugarcoat it. When the people heard Ubay ibn Ka'b narrate that hadith, when Ubay ibn Ka'b saw a man, bragging, saying, I'm from such and such a tribe and my father is so-and-so. Ubay ibn Ka'b, who was one of the ulama of the Quran from the companions, he said, bite on your father's penis. Everyone looked at Ubay ibn Ka'b in surprise. He said, are you surprised at what I said? He said, the Prophet said, and then he told them the hadith, and he said, don't sugarcoat it. So the point is, this is where a person comes from. What is there to be proud about? What is there to be proud about? So this hadith shows you the reality of Bani Adam in that we have foul odors that come out of our bodies, foul odors that come from under the arm, foul odors that come from your feet. You have athlete's feet that smells like cheese, all kinds of cheese, all cheese for those brothers who are not on top of their hygiene. Goes out, he plays football, soccer, he's active, lifting weights, and he doesn't take showers. And he puts the same clothes on, the same socks on, the same shoes on. And then he gets that athlete's foot. And between his toes, it literally smells like cheese. When you make sajda on the carpet and the brother prayed in that area, it's offensive. You go to the toilet, the bathrooms, my man, if you go to the toilet of the Muslims in the masjids, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. It's a musibah. How can cleanliness be half of faith? And look at the smell, look at his bathroom. The bathroom is clean, but when you go out and you come out of it, you didn't leave it the way you saw it. You don't flush. Come on. Come on. So the point is, Bani Adam is weak. The woman is weak. She has her cycle that has an offensive smell. Akramakumullah, it's an offensive smell. And that's why one of the punishments of the people of the hellfire is they will be punished from the mucus and the body fluids and liquids of the human being. Blood, pus, sweat, and all of that stuff. That's one of the punishments of certain people who will be in the hell of Jahannam. May Allah Ta'ala protect us. the blazing heat, the fire, the smoke, the torment, the sounds, and you're being burnt and bubbled and all of that. So it shows clearly that you don't have any of us the right to be arrogant. Mutakabbir, mustakbir, mustakbir. You got bad breath. You are Abu bad breath. Why are you being mutakabbir? Because this man is Bangladeshi and you're Pakistani? Come on, man. This one is from Mirpur and that one over there is from Rawalpindi. And just because of that, you think you're better? This hadith shows you, la. أأنتم أشد خلقا أم السماء بناها رفع سمكها فسواها. That's what Allah said to Bani Adam. Do you people, human beings, think that your creation was more difficult than the heavens? And Allah building the heavens were not difficult on them, but that creation is a greater creation than we are. Jibril is a greater creation than we are. Not to mention all the other malaika, not to mention the mountains, not to mention the universe, not to mention the Arush of Allah, not to mention the Kursi. So Bani Adam's origin is a turab, it's the dirt. So this hadith of the breath is a good indicator that, A, Bani Adam, you're weak. And when you die, you stink. Your body stinks. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's companions almost started to have a fight because one man said, "Oh Ansar," and when the Ansar saw that, when the Muhajirin, one man from the Ansar had an argument and he was getting ready to fight a man from the Muhajirin, he said, "Oh, my brothers from the Ansar," and the Ansar stood up with their swords. When the Muhajirin from Mecca saw that, that other man said, "Ya Muhajirin," and all of them stood up with their swords. Rasulullah interjected, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Ad-da'watul jahiliyyah wa ana bayna adhharikum da'uha fa innaha muntina." Muntina. Do you people use and make the call of a jahiliyyah, this MAGA, make America great again nonsense? The Jews are Allah's chosen people, so you can just kill people indiscriminately, and the world says nothing? We talking about, look at the Jews, look at the Jews, look at Netanyahu, look at the Zionists, look at the Zionists. We're some of the most racist people on the face of the earth. Muslims. Muslims. Prophet Muhammad said about his ummah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ثلاثة من أمور الجاهلية لن تتركها أمتي أبدا النياحة على الميت والفخر بالآباء والطعن في الأنساب. Three things are from the times of the people of Jahiliyyah. My ummah will always hold on to them until Yom Al-Qiyamah. Women wailing and screaming when someone dies. Being proud where you come from and bragging where you come from. And number three, talking bad about people and where they came from. His father was just a shoemaker. His father was just a this, is just a that. My family, we were the landowners. My family, and so forth and so on. Humble yourself. And for those people that Allah has given some knowledge, and this is one thing I found with a lot of brothers who have been given a little bit of knowledge, and it's a problem. Salafis don't have a monopoly on it, but I deal with Salafis. And Salafis are generally more knowledgeable than these other groups. Generally, they want to know. We want to know. Where's the proof? Where's the proof? But Salafi has been hijacked by some miscreants and ignorant people. So that individual, what he does is, he doesn't know how to read the Quran. He doesn't know much about the religion, but he has some information. And he weaponizes that and he beats people up with it. He beats people up with it. And when you don't agree with them or him, he says, "You're an innovator." Or the husband does that. His wife has less information than him and he weaponizes Islam, beats her up. I'm the husband. You have to listen to me. You're just being arrogant and you're using religion in the wrong way. So the more knowledge a person gets, the more humbler he should become. Because the one who had the most knowledge, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was the one who had the most humility. I end with that, inshallah, asking Allah Ta'ala to give us success and to protect us from the nar of Jahannam. All right, my man, if you brothers have any questions, I'll take a few questions if there are any right now. If there are some.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Yes, they're awesome. I'm gonna go with the first one, inshallah. A student of knowledge asked, when should we take the ghusl for Jummah? Is it after Fajr or after Maghrib on Thursday?
Technically speaking, akramakumullah, the new day starts at Maghrib time. The new day starts at Maghrib time. So we started Ramadan on Saturday, on Friday night. Friday night was the beginning of Ramadan, and Saturday was the first day that we fasted. And this is part of what I was just saying. In El Islam, the night precedes the day. That's what Allah made in the religion. But we grew up in this European culture, so some people have a problem with that. Say, how? White people don't see that. Man, you and white people, look, jump in the lake. It's what Allah and His Messenger said. Now, we do recognize that we're in this society, so we have to read the room and have wisdom. We all should know the 12 Islamic months. Today is my birthday. I was born March 10th, 1964. But my real birthday is in Shawwal. I should know when I was born in Islamic lunar calendar. Many of us don't know what day it is or what month it is. Now, I say part of our wala wa bara and being aware is learn the Islamic calendars. It's our religion. It's wala wa bara. Lakum dinukum waliyadin. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all shirk. All of that is shirk. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, all shirk. All that's kufr and shirk. Here in America, 2 days ago, Sunday, they pushed the time up 1 hour. We went up 1 hour. 1 hour. Allah said in the Quran, إِنَّمَا النَّسِيءُ زِيَادَةٌ فِي الْكُفْرِ يُضَلُّ بِهِ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا يحلونه عاما ويحرمونه عاما ليواطئوا عدة ما حرم الله. Changing the time, what Quraysh used to do in the sacred months, they would say, okay, we're going to suspend it. It's not going to be sacred, so that they can go loot and plunder and kill people. And they would say it's sacred, it's not sacred, and they would play games. Allah said when you play with the time, that's kufr. So to put the time up an hour, to delay it, this is Allah's haq. Only Allah. So when I say to people, my family, whoever, let's learn these dates. Now when I sign a check, my check, I write a check, I'm going to put the 10th day of Ramadan, 1446. I'm not going to do that. They're not going to accept the check. So you have to use common sense. Prophet Muhammad used to go barefooted sometimes. You're going to go to work at your job as a professional with no shoes, and then people at Human Resources say, where your shoes at, man? You say, Prophet Muhammad used to go barefooted. Say, come on, man. The breath of the faster is more pure to Allah than misk. But you may be a person who works as a human resource person in your job. You have to talk, and people find it not professional, you smelling like that. Then it may be in your best interest to use scope to put something in your breath. The Prophet used the miswak to clean his mouth when he was fasting, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So because of your job, maybe you want to take that smell away, because as a professional, they'll look at. So no one's telling people don't have fiqh and understanding. So, brother, the ghusl should be done. It can be done from Maghrib until the next day before the Jum'ah prayer, and Allah knows best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. The other question from the comments we have from A.S. Where and which mosque is the Sheikh at?
I'm in Florida, a place called Kissimmee, next to Orlando. So if you put Masjid Sunnah, Kissimmee, Masjid Sunnah, Kissimmee, it's a purpose-built masjid, and mashallah is here in this beautiful weather of Florida, close to Disney, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, SeaWorld, all of that stuff. So every week we get a lot of Muslims from all over who come to our masjid, and we always hang out with them and stuff like that. And so you're always welcome. If you want to come to Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, I would advise you not to waste your money on that, but they do have some educational things like SeaWorld, where those whales those orcas and things like that, the orca well. But unfortunately, although kids like that, those poor orca whales are in captivity and they're suffering from mental health issues because they was not created to be kept in those tanks like that. So I'm in Kissimmee, Florida.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for that one. Then we have another question which is a bit more specific. The question states, we had a revered brother who he forgot that he was fasting and he inhaled some vape, I think they call, yeah, vapes. So because he forgot he was fasting, but he didn't know, and he continued to vape, thinking that his fast is already broken, until another brother told him, "No, no, no. As long as you forgot and it wasn't intentional, your fast is still valid." And at that moment, he stopped vaping. Is his fast valid, or he does need to make it up?
It's good that the brother advised him, and it's good that he stopped vaping once he knew. But I have to say that vaping is haram, that he shouldn't vape in Ramadan or outside of Ramadan because it is proven scientifically to be bad for your health. As for what the brother advised him with, that's correct. Prophet Muhammad says, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, anyone who forgets and he eats something while he's fasting, continue your fast because Allah at'amahu. Allah caused him to eat. And Surah Al-Baqarah, the last two ayahs of the Surah Al-Baqarah, Prophet Muhammad said, nothing has been revealed like these two ayats. And from those ayats is the dua, Rabbana la tu'akhidna in nasina aw akhtana. Oh, our Lord, do not hold us accountable for something that we do out of forgetfulness or we made a mistake. So I go into a hotel and I pray facing this way. And then I find out later I prayed the wrong way. No problem. It was an honest mistake. If I forgot that I didn't mix it out the dhuhr, asr, I pray it when I remember. The Prophet said, anyone who forgets to pray pray it when you remember. Pray when you remember. Lastly, the Prophet mentioned in authentic hadith, hey Sheikh, it's better if you pray over there because I'm gonna disturb you. We have a lot of shiuk, older sheikhs who have white beards and they come from Trinidad and they come from India and they come from some Nepal, you know, mashallah, our shiuk. The Prophet mentioned sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Allah تجاوز عن أمتي الخطأ والنسيان وما استكره عليه. Allah has pardoned and overlooked my ummah for what they do out of a mistake. He opened up his window and a pot fell off of the thing and hit a man in the head and killed him. He's not killed. It was a mistake. He didn't mean it. And the one who does something out of forgetfulness, he forgot to pray. He forgot he was fasting, so he ate it. And Allah will forgive you if you do something out of compulsion. I'm compelled to say a word of kufr. I'm compelled to take riba. I'm compelled not to wear hijab. They're going to do something to me. I'm compelled. Allah overlooks that. Fadda.
Jazakallah khair. Then we have from Nemo, how can we develop discipline day to day? I struggle to stay consistent.
Welcome to the club, my brother, sister. Oh, Nemo was probably Ni'ma, Sumani, Allahu Alam. First of all, dua is the weapon of the believer. Anything that the person makes dua for, Allah will give it to him, and inshallah, in this dunya. If he doesn't give it to him, he'll give it to you in it. So make dua. It's the weapon of the believer. وإذا سألك عبادي عني فإني قريب أجيب دعوة الداعي إذا دعاني. If they ask you about me, Muhammad, let them know I'm close. I answer the dua of the people, especially when you're in sajda, especially when you're praying, when you're fasting. Ask Allah. The other thing I found in this month of Ramadan, because I'm so busy with doing things, I found that I started doing a to-do list and having that with me, to-do list. I keep that with me and it helps me to save time to stay consistent. Also to remember what the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inna ahabbul a'mali illallah adwamuha wa in qalla. The most beloved deed to Allah is what you do with consistency, even if it's a little. Even if it's a little. So praying one day 11 rakat for Taraweeh or 20 rakat for Taraweeh, and then you never go again. You get the rewards for that, but praying 2 rakat only every day is better than that, more beloved to Allah. So be consistent by not biting off more than you can chew. Take baby steps little by little. So one of my older sheikhs came. I got to show you who he is. This is my man. This is my brother. He always brings some special food for me. And as soon as I saw him, my stomach started growling. Come on, man. We got to hurry up, man. I'm starving like Marvin now. Got to get ready.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. We'll end it here then. If that's the case, we don't want to make you hungry more
No,
than you need to
I
anyway.
have time for 3 more if you have three. If not, it's okay. It's up to you.
Okay, khair, inshallah. We have a comment here from Jawad Shahid saying, Love from Brum, miss you at GLM with a heart. Allahumma barik. And
You
another
too, my
question.
brother. Got nothing but love for the people from Birmingham. I don't miss being in the UK, all of the infighting. I don't like the hypocrisy of the government and the way they do things, BBC, these politicians, but I really dislike the infighting between the Muslims of the UK. I hate it with a passion. But one thing I really miss about the UK are the brothers, the interpersonal relationships that I've developed over the year, many of which are in Birmingham, and also Keithley, the Mirpuris. I have nothing but love for the Mirpuris for the most part. So may Allah bless the people of the UK.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. And final question for now, anyway. The question says, which one should we focus more? Is it tadabbur or reciting Quran in Arabic, even if we don't understand it?
If you don't understand it, you got to recite it. Just recite it. Get through the recitation. Read as much as you can read, not only in Ramadan, but the more we read, even if you don't understand it, the Quran is going to have an impact upon the person's akhlaq and his existence. Just reading the Quran is barakah. Just reading the Quran. The Prophet says, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, الذي يقرأ القرآن وهو ماهر به مع سفرة الكرام البررة والذي يقرأه وهو يتتعتع فيه وهو عليه شاق له أجران. Anyone who reads the Quran and he's an expert, he'll be raised up with the malaika. Anybody who reads the Quran and he finds it difficult, like myself and you non-Arab people, it's difficult, and he stutters, he'll get a double reward. So read the Quran just to get through it in the month of Ramadan, and then after that, inshallah, read it in outside of Ramadan to get a tadabbur, because this is something that is wajib as well. أفلا يتدبرون القرآن أم على قلوب أقفالها. Will they not contemplate the Quran's message, or are their hearts locked with keys? So the goal and the objective of the Quran is to learn. وأنزلنا إليك الذكر لتبين للناس ما نزل إليهم ولعلهم يتفكرون. Verily, we revealed this Quran on you, Muhammad, so that you can explain to them in the hopes that they can understand and they can practice. So, man, Ennis, listen, this is really important. I'm going to be traveling, inshallah, to America on Wednesday, this Wednesday, and I'll be in America next Wednesday. So, you brothers have to get in touch with me. So, if I do this program on Monday, you have to know I won't have this time difference between us and you. I'll be there next Monday. I'll be there next Monday, inshallah. So you guys let me know, okay?
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Ahsan Allah ilayk. That's all the questions we have. Any final words from yourself, and we can close off the stream, inshallah.
Final word that I want to say from everybody is the only Islam Allah is going to accept from us is the Islam that is similar to what the Prophet brought, and Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali, Aisha, Khadija, and what those companions were upon. Radiallahu anhum wa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the Islam that I'm practicing and I'm calling to, the Islam that you people are practicing, you want to be upon, it has to be what those companions did. If they did the Mawlid, you do the Mawlid. If they didn't do the Mawlid, you don't do the Mawlid. What they believed about the Aqeedah of Islam, we believe. What they didn't believe, we don't believe. Stay away from rhetoric and ilm al-kalam, and be gentle with the Muslims and easy on yourselves. محمد رسول الله والذين معه شداء على الكفار رحماء بينهم. Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and those people who are with him, they are merciful towards one another, and they are strong against the non-Muslims when they have to be. And that's what the companions, that's how Allah described them in the Quran. So I'm Salafi. I want to be on the religion of Abu Bakr to the best of my ability and those companions. But when it comes to dealing effectively and practically with the Muslims, I'm rough and tough. No, that's a contradiction. So may Allah Ta'ala give us all success to be upright Muslims, far away from this, this Hizbiyah, whether I'm Salafi, Ikhwani, Sufi. Be a Muslim on the Kitab and the Sunnah and practice what those companions were upon, whatever you want to call it. That's my advice to you, brother.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. We'll finish off on here and we'll be in touch in the background as well when you arrive, inshallah. We can organize something.
All
Bismillah.
right, I need to rap to you right now on my other telephone, okay? After you cut me off, call me on my other on the horn, okay?
Naam, Sheikh, no problem.
All right.
Jazakallah khair.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh to all of you.